So we are going to check about data load mappings, how many data load mappings that we are having, how we are going to manage the total data load mappings. If you can observe here in location, we have one property is there, parent location. Remember this, why we are using this one, and it is associated with my data load mappings part also. So we'll see how it is going to be used. The parent location, how we are going to use while creating the location. That we'll see. See, first parent location, just remember this property from location part. And now moving to data load mappings. Here, data load mappings we can create for a specific location. Say for example, we can create the mappings for each location individually, or else you can create all the mappings into one particular location and we can reuse that into a separate location. Say for example, you are having US location, as we discussed, UK location. Say for example, Australia location. Your mappings, data load mappings, TL and data load mappings. Your data load mappings are same for all the businesses, all the locations across the global. If you are using the same mappings, that means your source system is same and you are using the same mappings for all the locations, then you can create one location as global mappings. Okay, one location as global mapping. It's a dummy location. What I'm trying to say is it's a dummy location I'm creating. I'm not going to use this one for data loading. I'm just using for mapping purpose only. I am creating this global mappings as a dummy location I have created, and I'm creating the mappings for this location. Thereafter, when I want to use for all the locations, I don't want to recreate the mappings again and again for each location. And I'm going to use this location as my parent location of the location. So here, each location is having one property that I said now, parent location. There itself, I'm going to keep my global mappings location as parent location. So by doing that one, what will be happen? Whatever the global mappings that I have defined at this location, all the mappings will be inheritedly will come into this location. So due to this, what will be happen? Your rework will be reduced. You need not to recreate. You need not to again and you need not to create and create the mappings over here. So simply it will be taking the global mappings into the consideration. So no need to worry about recreate of the mappings. Okay. So that is one thing. If you are having any new changes or any new mappings that are coming into the picture that you need to create them, then simply you can update in a global mappings. Those automatically will be getting updated into the rest of the mappings only. I mean like rest of the locations mappings, it will be automatically gets updated. Okay. So if you are having apart from global mappings, if you are having any specific mappings to your particular location, then obviously go to that particular location and add apart from your global mappings. Those mappings will be specifically defined for that particular location itself only. So let us see. Here I am going to create one location, only one dummy location that I am going. So here I am going to say as global mapping. Okay, I have created the dummy location and I'm going to use that location for the data load mappings. So here data load mappings, how many mappings are there for us? Check this one and change the location as global mapping, which I am going to use for all the location mappings. So there is no specific POV is required. Just you need to check about the location only. It's not like a particular period and a scenario. The mappings are not specific to particular location, particular period and category. The mappings for all the periods, all the all the periods only we will be having the mappings. Okay. So this is not a particular October period. These mappings are specifically for all the periods. But you need to think about only location only at this moment. So here we are having export mappings and import mappings. So you can import one mapping, one current dimension mappings, and you can import all the dimensions and import from Excel. And if you have any Excel, you can download the mappings. I will show you how to create the mappings file and how to import and how to export. That we can see. Before going to that, we can see here total dimensions. Whatever the dimensions that we are having in HFM application for all of them. We covered rest of the dimensions. Apart from this data load mappings, we covered the mappings for the rest of the dimensions. What are the dimensions that we have covered? Year and period. That will be covered in period dimension. Category mapping. That will be covered in actual mapping. Scenario mapping. Those are defined in period mappings and category mappings that are defined over there. So here data load mappings. Coming to data load mappings, here we are having other dimensions mappings are required here. Other dimension mappings are required here. If you can see here, account dimension, entity dimension, ICP, custom dimensions. So if you go for the account, the data table column name is showing as account. This is nothing but like your what I can say in application. In the database itself, the tables will be there, right? Each column will be having the set of names. I will show you these column names. So this data will be stored into a table called as tdata seg underscore t1 table, and tdata seg map is another table is there. Just let me go back here. And t seg table. So if you can see this one, T data map is the one of the table in the back end where you have created your mappings, everything in the front end, those will be populated over here. So partition key, here partition key. Partition key is nothing but your location name. So if you want to check that one, go to location and check the partition key. See here, we have created the mappings in previous for the partition key is 2. Partition key here is nothing but a location ID which is created in the backend. So for that location, I have created the mappings account, source key, source description, target key means this is like source value and this is like target value. And is there any data load rules, then it will be populated over here. And these are all the rule ID. If there is any rule ID, that will be created. So here itself, all of them will be created in the tdata map table. Okay. And here I would like to show you the part is when I am going to data load mappings. Here I am saying like account column is there and custom 3 it is showing as UD3 and custom 4 it is showing as UD4, right? How these values are defined, how these values are going to be populated in the backend. So if I can go and check the T data sec table, there itself you can see amount column, and you can able to see the UD1 columns and UD2 columns and UD3 columns. What exactly UD1 and UD2 and UD3? These are nothing but your user defined dimensions, which are calling in HF application, we are calling them as a custom dimensions, right? So those custom dimensions will be having in your HF application. Those we are calling them UD, user defined 1 and user defined 2. So custom 4, see here itself, it is showing as user defined 4. If you go for the custom 3, it is showing as user defined 3. And prod cell, it is showing as user defined 1. Go for the custom 1 dimension. So these are all being like source values that you are populating as a custom 1 dimension. In FDME we are populating them as a UD1, UD2, UD3 and UD4. Fine, up to here. So first let us see the file, how the file is look like. So let us take one of the files. So just I am taking one of the mapping file which is already been having here. So the mapping file that we are giving the information like so if you can see here, what we are doing is we are having account mapping, ICP mappings, UD1, UD2, UD3 and UD4. All the mappings are here. So if you are not having this file, how can I create them? Okay, you can ask. So just what you need to do is, if you are not having this file .txt file or something, but you are new to create the mappings or something, then what you have to do is you can create one of the mapping over here for sample purpose. Create the sample explicit mapping. Okay, just explicit mapping is one-to-one mapping. Just I will tell you how to create this one. So I am giving the value, source value, some account, and go on give some values over here. Say for example, I am taking none account. Okay, so you can create like this. Mean for testing purpose, mean like how to create and all. Just go to all mappings. If you want to export the current dimension, export this current dimension. So the format, how you are very new to this and you don't know how the format look likes to create the mapping file, then what we have to do is you need to create one mapping, one single mapping, and create them and export them into, first export, then download that file. So check this one. So now we have created the mapping, correct? So what is it is showing? It is like source value, this is like target value, and this is like two parameters, right? So this you have created for only this account dimension mapping only. Source val explicit mapping it is not showing because of one-to-one. If you are giving this is obviously it will be showing as explicit only. Source value, target value, rule name, and description. These are the four characters that it is showing. So if you are not giving over there, means the two separators will be showing as in like a rule name and description. This is source and target. So this is the way that you can take it up and you are going to create them. But for all dimensions, if you are going to create them, then you need to definitely you need to give the like dimension name over there, so that system will understand the first column would be your dimension, and the second one is source, and third one is target, and fourth one is rule name, and the last one is description. Okay, so this is the way that you need to create the data load mappings file to import into the application. I mean like this particular location. Okay, so how you are going to more mappings, because of every time you need not to go and create one by one mapping means it's difficult. In real time we will be having like 5,000 mappings and 10,000 mappings will be there. So that is like it's not a good manner to create them into the application, I mean into the application, into the particular location, go on create one by one, right? Definitely you should have the data load file itself, and you need to manage that one outside of the application, and there itself you need to create all of them, and then we can import them into the application. Okay, now we need to see one by one mappings over here. So explicit mapping, what are the mapping types that we are having and how we are going to use them? So in all mappings type that we can see all the mappings, whatever the mapping type that we are having, we can able to see at all mappings types. So explicit mapping is nothing but one-to-one mapping. So you need to have one-to-one mapping, then definitely you should go with explicit mapping. So explicit mapping is nothing but it's a one-to-one mapping only. Okay. The next one is between. Between, how we are going to use. So between mapping is nothing but if you are know the SQL, between in the sense the range of the values. So between you can give here 1503 to 1591 source value. Okay, and you are giving some target value is like one value only. Say for example, you are giving like 150000000015 the target number. But what number will be going to be target? What members? What are the source members will be going to load into a particular target number? Here itself we are saying a range of members. So if you are giving 1503 comma 1591 means whatever the members that are coming like from 1503 to 1591, like it can be 1550, it can be 1560, 1570 or 1580. The range of the values from the source, then it will be considered and it will be loaded into a target number. Okay, so here if you can see, this is like from this to this member, the range of these members will be going to be loaded. Say for example, if I can say 55 to 70, whatever the members that are coming from 55 to 70, then I am going to load into interest. So all the source members, say for example, you are having like 55, 65, 68 and 69. These are the numbers. These are all going to be sum up, and that value will be loaded into the interest number only. That number will be goes into interest number only. So these members, all members will be loaded into interest number only. Okay. So that is like what that is range of values. It is looking from the source value and it is going to be loaded into a target value. That is like between. And coming to in operator, so explicit is nothing but like as discussed, we are discussed, I mean like one to one, each member to each member. So then it will be, if you want to manage that single mappings, then you can definitely go with explicit mappings. And these mappings, these between, in and like and multi-dimensional mapping, we are calling them as mapping rules. Okay, we are calling, okay, technically we are calling them as mapping rules, that we are defining the rules for each mapping. Explicit mapping we are not going to say as mapping rules. It's a simple mapping and one-to-one mapping, and we are calling them as explicit mapping. When you go for the mapping rules, which are nothing but your between in multidimensional and like mappings, because of we are going to write the rule name over there, the rule name over there. So we will see one by one how it is going to be used. Between that we discussed right now, mind the range of the values, how we are going to take, and you can use that. And if you remember here, I mean like, let me go back. In account dimension only, you can able to see the one of the option, extra option that we will be seeing here. That is like change sign. Okay, you will not be see this property in any other dimensions. So in any other dimension, you will be having source value, target value, description, and apply to rule. Okay. But whereas in account dimension, we will be seeing one of the extra property that is called as change sign. So what is the use of this change sign? So this change sign is nothing but whenever you are loading the data from your source, if that is having positive value or debit value or credit value, that you want to, credit values obviously coming with negative values from your source. If it is coming like in your source that it is coming as negative, but you need to load them into HFM application as positive values only, because of in there you will be showing the expense value instead of showing the negative values. You will be having the positive only, because of the value itself defined as the expense account type in HFM, that itself is saying as it is a negative value, correct? So you need not to push that value as negative. If you are pushing that value means it will become as positive value. So what you need to do is you need to change the signage if it requires. So while loading the data, it will be automatically change the signage for that particular data member. You can use this if it requires to change the signage. Okay, this is only available for HF, I mean for account dimension itself only. So change signage, and that between operator that we have seen, like what we need to take the source and range of values, source range of values. So in mapping, if you go for the in mapping, here itself, is there any non-sequential range of source? I mean like you are having multiple members. In between here, in previous we have taken like 1501 to 1535. So any one of the member which comes in the range, that will be picks up and it will be loaded into your target member. But whereas in operator, I mean like in mapping, you need to define the specific set of members like 1503 or 1510 or 1515. It's not a range. It's the list of values. Like, so these are the members. If you are getting any one of the members from the source like these members, it will be loaded into here. In previous, it is taking all the range from that starting point to end point. But here, it will be taking like list of values. What are the list of values that we are going to take? Those list of values only will be considered, and that it is going to be loaded. So another new one that is being introduced in the latest version, that is multi-dimensional mapping. What is multi-dimensional mapping? Till now we discussed about the particular dimension only, right? Till now we discussed about the particular dimension itself only. Account dimension, RNG dimension, any dimension that you can take like explicit mapping or between mappings or in mappings, anything that you are going to be used only particular dimension itself only. But now the new one is like multi-dimensional mapping. If the condition is satisfied, the data load will be happen for the source value to target value. Till now what we discussed. But here in multi-dimensional mapping, it has to be satisfied 3 or 4 dimensional, or how many dimensions that you are going to be used as a conditional basis. Say here, I'm not going to keep only one department. I'm not going to use only one dimensional mapping to do the mapping for my account. I'm going to do some other dimensional mappings also. If those are all satisfied, then only the value, source value will be goes into target value. Say what are the dimensions? If department 1 is mapped with the 115 value, right? So here you can see dimension, that source is department, that is UD1 table name, explicit mapping with 115. Okay, so what it is saying, if my source is like 115 and my source lookup 1 mean like UD7 is like between the range of this, and my entity source would be like central. If these are all three conditions are satisfied, then my target value would be this account. Okay, so what we are doing is, these are all conditions, so that's what you can see here, and condition. It's not a or, it's a and condition, so it has to be satisfied all the three-dimensional conditionals. So conditions, if it is satisfied the three conditions, then only the source value will be loaded into the target particular number. So dimensions, multi-dimension, how many dimensions that you want to do a conditions that you want to give source on source, then you need to define all the source dimensional conditions over there. If it is satisfied, then you definitely load the data into a particular target number. So which is nothing but we are calling them as multi-dimensional mapping. And the last one is nothing but we are using like mapping. So use a like mapping to map multiple source dimension members with wildcard characters. So wildcard character we can see later. So what is exactly use of like mapping? Like mapping is nothing but we can call them as star to star. That means any member to any member, it will be simply taking into the consideration from source to target. But your target member is also should be having the same value as source. Say for example, your resource is having X and your target is dimension also is having the number of X. Then you need not to go on to give explicit mapping a 1 to 1, X to X. Simply you can put it as like mapping star to star. So simply whatever the source values that you are having, those values will be automatically loaded into the target application. The target application should be having the member which is who are having in source value also as well. Okay. So the source value and the target value, if you are having both, then you go for the star to star. But here we are using some differentiation. What is that? Here we are saying like 1190 star, and you are going to map this one. So whatever the source members that you are getting from your source file or source open interface or something other, any member that which is starts with 1190, of the member which is starts from 1190, all the members that you are going to take, and you can load them into target number. So this is like starting point. You are saying this is the starting point. This is the starting point. Likewise, you can give star also. The start number of this one you can use and you can load the data over there. Some wildcard mappings also we will be using. What is the wildcard mapping? So we can see one by one. So here, if you can observe that star to star, as I said, the source value is 1125 and result is also 11125. So all the source values will be mapping to the target. If you are giving like wildcards, so how it is going to be mapped? So my target value, I mean if you are giving the source expression is star and target expression I am giving target mapping is giving a cash underscore star. So how it is going to be loaded? 101 is your source value and target member is should be cash underscore 101. So your target HFM dimension account member is cash underscore 101 is your target member. And if you want to give like whatever the source values, mean like star underscore DUP is equals to star. So whatever the source values with 1100 underscore DUP, those will be mapping with only star 1100 only. Okay, star to none. Star to none in the sense you are having any member. So this will be using like in account dimension or in any dimension that we can use, because of you are giving your explicit mappings, in mappings, between mappings and everything you have given. But some of the dimension you have missed it. Say for example in account dimension you have given all of the accounts, but some of the accounts are that you missed to give the mappings. If your mappings are not correct or not proper, then you will be getting the validation error. So what you are trying to do is you want to override such kind of issues, or you want to avoid, or if you want to, whatever the accounts that you are not having, you want to load them into a none intersection, then you need to take the source intersection as star and put it into as none. So whatever the source members which are not having any mappings, whatever the source members that you are having and which are not having any mappings, those members will be loaded into a none member. Okay, so simply you can avoid that errors, but you need to make sure if we are loading the data means you need to make sure that all dimensions are having the mappings. But if it is missed, then it has to be loaded into a non-member, or you can put any specific member also. If you want to load that into some suspense account, some any other account that you want to load, instead of none, you can give it also that one. All the values, source values that are coming as star, you can load to them into a particular suspense account instead of going to none. Okay, that is one. Another one is, this is like, oh, in wildcard. So question mark dot star. So if you are giving the question mark, then it will be like ignoring the values. It will be strips off, like it will be ignoring the value. See here, if you can give the question mark dot star, that means like here my source value is a and 1000 is there. If you are giving there, then it will be resulting the value as 1000. That means the first character will be ignored. Okay, while mapping only 1000 will be loaded. So star, and if you are giving like 4 question marks, that means, and it is going to be loaded as a 1000 only. So it is ignoring the four characters. Okay, so this is the way that you need to do some kind of wildcard mapping that we can do in FDME application if you require. Okay, so how the values will be taking into the consideration the sequential order of the mappings. The sequential order of the mapping will be the same as which is available in the application in the sequential order, like associate, between, in, multidimensional, and like. This is the way the members will be mapped into the application when you run for the data loading. Okay. Building mapping externally means that what I said, the mappings that we created a file and we can import them. So that you can see practically here. Global mappings are there. Let me remove this one. I have the file over there, right? So I'm going to use this, import all the mappings, just import all dimensions. Use this one, take the file, import all dimensions. This is all my files. So if you want to upload them, if it is not there, go and upload them. These files are where it is this path. I am showing this path. Where is this path exactly? I mean, because of I said initially in the first session, I'm going to upload and download. I'm doing something, but where this path is? This path is nothing but which you defined in the system settings, no, application settings, like where you have given your HFM application. This is the HFM. Your path would be this one. Go back to your system and see and FDME BHFM. These are the locations which we are seeing here. These are the path is nothing but from here. So if you can go and here I am going to input all dimensions. Whatever the files that I am having, I am going to see from here, right? So these are the files. This is the outbox and inbox and everything that will be showing over here. So if you don't have this file, and you can upload them, browse from external directories, mean like any local folders where you maintain your mappings and all of them, you can first get them into the server, mean like this folder, and thereafter in all maps you will have to take them and simply you can import. So while importing, it will be asking some of the options. So which method that you want to load, in merge mode or replace mode. That means If already this global mapping location is having some mappings internally over there, and you want to merge along with them, or you want to replace with the new file which you are importing. So if you are going to replace with the new one, all the existing members will be removed and the new file will be imported. If you can put it as merge, it will be imported along with the old members, old mappings. Validate and no validate. So if you are put it as validate, then it will be validating against with your source mappings. When you go for the merge mode, if you can do that, it will be validating against with your source values. If there is something different source over there, it will be giving the validation report. And execution mode, online and offline. If you can put it as online, still that import is completed, your system will be hang. Mean like it will not, we will not move into the next window. If you can put it as over here offline and click on OK, then once this process ID will be created and you can check the process details for the global mappings. Okay. If you are not do that, it will be the system will be freezing and you will not move for the other what I can say window. So if you do this offline, you can check whether it is process is a success or failure from by checking the backend in the process details. The import mappings all are done. So here this is the success status and all mappings have been done. So go and check the data load mappings for global mappings. Here you can see all the mappings have been imported between in whatever the mappings that we are having. So you can check for other dimensions also. All the mappings that we have imported, right? So this is like globally mappings how you are going to be managed. If you want to get some files or something Excel template, you can download the Excel templates and you can check how the mappings are being designed and you can use that one and you can import. So this is the standard format that we are going to use to import the data, I mean mappings data, that you can do it rather than for Excel and all. So if you are having Excel, you can do it. Otherwise, you can use this one. Restore mapping, delete mappings. This is simple things if you want to delete or restore the things. Okay. Let me have any other things on that. So here you need to know, I mean like the data load rule. So as I explained here, dimension, source value, target value, mapping rule, and the description and data load rule. If you want to give any rule name, then you can go for the data load rule. So you need to have these 6 columns and prepare your data load rule, I mean data load mapping file. Then you can import that mapping into the application .txt format only. So, but the 6 columns would be required. This is like Excel template that you want to download. You can download the template and you can work on it. If you don't want to go for the txt file, you can download the file. It's defined by the application itself. You can use this file. So you can create your source mappings, target mappings, source description, target, rule name, and everything that you can do by using this one. You can change the mappings also if you want to do from here. So you can do from here itself also. If you want to see all the conditionals, you can go through this one and we can create. But normally we will be going with the file format, and if you want to go for this particular what I can say Excel format, then you can use that one. Download that Excel, update the mappings, then you can import from Excel. Otherwise, if you don't want to go that also, you can export to Excel from here itself. Export Excel. is not. This is not the format. It is not supporting here, but here itself also you need to export to into Excel format. Then you can update the mappings over there. Then you can import mappings also. Import from Excel means you can use that Excel and import the mappings from there. Okay. Otherwise, you can use the template which is there. This is like which I have explained for importing, restoring and deleting the mappings. Those are all the common ones. So I shared like global mappings. There is another part like I am using the global mappings and just removing all the mappings from my one of the location, this BHFM location. Okay, delete all mappings. Yes. So you need not to find anything from here. Okay. So your BHFM application mean locate. Okay. Let me delete all the mappings. So you don't have all mappings, mean you don't have any mappings in my BHFM location, and if you can check, no mappings are there, right? So I'm going to use my location, which location? Global mappings location is there, right? I'm going to use this global mappings location as the parent location. We have here that run, right? Just I said before starting the session, remember that, right? So go to that location. I'm going to use BHFM parent location as global mappings. I don't have any mappings for BHFM. I am not creating them also. Just I am using as a parent location of global mappings. Click on save and go back to data load mappings and check the what it is this moment. Okay. Check the BHFM mappings for that location. Click on OK and check here also. So you are having BHFM location is also having all the mappings which are having my global mappings. Why? Because you have given the setup like location, you have given the location as global mapping. So likewise you can create as many as locations that you require. You can create all of them and simply you can give the global mappings over there. So whatever the mappings that is having in a global mappings, inherently it will be imported or we can use for other locations as well. That is the importance of parent location. This is the important one in real times. Okay. Any questions on mapping side? Any questions on mappings? Yeah, then we are moving with data load rules. Once you are okay with your data load mappings and all, then we need to create the data load rule. This data load rule where it is going to be created in the backend. Okay, the table we'll see. Yeah, process details. Yes, let me check. Select stock, RAM, AIF, balance, all rules. So these tables also you need to remember, and let me show you that one. The mappings and everything that we have created, right? So go to select the data set map. So now we have created for other location. So you can see the partition key and mappings, everything been created for the global mappings. You can see for these mappings for global mappings and all the mappings will be available over here, source and target. If you are familiar to write the rules in SQL and something, then you can write directly to populate these values in the backend by writing the query itself directly. You can populate the source and target values directly over here. Okay, insert into command, writing this one, and select the data from your source tables, and directly you can populate over here also. If you are familiar to write the SQL queries, we can automate that process. Okay, if it is table to table that you want to load them. And now here I am going to show you select AF rules. So data load rules, where it is going to be stored. That data load rules will be stored in the backend table is called as AF all rules. Okay. So here you can see BHFM, that is the data load rule that we created, right? This data load rule will be backend, it will be stored in the BHFM rule. That rule ID is 3, and rule description that we haven't given anything. Rule description we haven't given anything. And what the type of rule, that data rule is nothing but for data loading purpose that we are using. So that is data, and partition key, and which partition key that you have created, and which partition key that is created on BHFM. So that is like partition key is 2, and it is success are there. So the successfully status is success. So everything that you created over here, whatever the data load rules, that will be created in the backend. You may have like different data load rules also. So here I have created one data load rule. You can create second data load rule also if you want to do that. Then that could be like your point of intersection might be different. Okay, your point of intersection might be different to load the data. Here in my case, I am creating the data load rule for BHFM application location. So the naming convention say I can create one more data load rule. Let's say for example here only BHFM1. I am creating one more data load. So which category that you are going to create, or the budget or forecast? I have created for actual scenario. Now I am going to create for budget. And file type, this is single period only. Multi-period we can see later on. I mean like how we are going to load the data for multiple periods at a time for budget scenario. Okay, let us see. Otherwise we can take the multi-period file. Okay, for budget I would like to load the multi-period, not for a single period data load. So I need to have the import format. Take the import format. Import format. Okay. Fine. Then the options, source files and target options and custom options. So source option is nothing but like what is the file that you are going to be loaded. And what is the directory? I mean like if you are having any directory of files or something, and you can use the period suffix, file name suffix type. If you want to give, you can give, or else you can ignore it. So simply create this data load rule. So we can create the data load rule over here. So once executed, then you will be seeing the new success or failure. So you can check here AF balance rule, and you can execute. You can see the new data load rule with the same partition key, and it is saying as new. Once you loaded that one, then you can see the success or failure. Okay, once you created the data load rule, it will be automatically updated in the backend. So this is like how you are going to, you can create multiple data load rules also, but your point of intersection will be getting varied. So let us use this BHFM for actual scenario for now. Later on we can check about this BHFM1. No, BHFM I am saying here. So target options. What are the target options? Target options is nothing but whatever the HFM application options that you are having, everything that you need to define over here. And custom options are nothing but when you write any custom scripts, then you can use these integration options over there. So like custom script mail events or anything that you are writing, you need to write the email IDs to whom you want to send. All of them you can use here, and you can integrate with the custom scripts. So here I'm going to execute this BHFM data load. Execute. Once you execute it, here you can see the execution rule, whatever the options that we are having. So it is like import from source. That means your sales file will be getting imported and export to target. It will be exported into target HFM application. Which period that you want to load? Which period that you want to load? October, because of it's already been defined over here. And start period and end period will be giving, because of here we are loading for one single period. That's what your start period and end period will be same. And import mode, append or replace. You are importing the file in appending. I mean already the data is available in HFM, I mean in FDME, that you want to append them or you want to import the data. Then you can use the append or import. I mean append or replace, and you want to export like which method you want to export into HFM application, merge, replace or accumulate, what kind of method that you want to use. Okay, just I'm going to use run. So the process is started. Go to process details and check that one. And the process has been started. Then it is importing. So these are all we will be seeing how it is going to be updated. Then you can see one more table is called as select start from AF bal details or something. Let's see that one. Bal details. Data. Calculation, rule details, all rules, term nodes, rule terms, rules. No, these are not. F translation. Value details. Start from F. Rule terms. Parameters. Those are all. Val rule details. Rule ID detail ID this one. So, process details. Balance rules. I will check that one. Entity type and something is there. So here itself you can whatever the tables that it is going to be loaded. Here that we did, like everything has been loaded, right? So here import is there, transform is there, export is there, load is there, and consolidation is also being done from here itself only. Okay, that everything has been done. It will be updated in a table. Just I am checking for that table. Just a moment. Source details. Just a moment. If it is there, this is period of service request. Type load. Load item balance sheet details. That is also not very balance details. Process details. Let me check that one. Process. Yes. Yes. Here you can see AF underscore process details. So if you can check here the entity type. So here if you are loading the data over there based on the process ID. Okay, let me check the process ID. Start execution time, start time, and time. Entity type is there, entity ID, entity name, other, table name, execution start time. So here you can see the whatever the things that we are doing, we can find all of the information over there. Import mappings, process BAL import file, the transaction is going to be done. Everything that we can see here itself. So here itself we have the process ID. So this process ID is nothing but this one. So like run it here itself, where process ID equals to 10. Now we have run for 10 or 11. So you can check whatever the things that we have done, right? So the process ID which we did is 11. So when you are importing the data, first import from file, that is taking the entity name is file name, and then it is like going to process BAL trans. This is transforming the data. For which period that it is going to be transformed? October. Then it started process BAL HFN. So each process step, it is a one table. So this table will be stored into a process, this column, entity column, that is like one column, that is entity type, that is taking it this one, and transform, it is going to be stored into here one column, and loading, export is into one column, and loading, this is loading into another column, and thereafter creating drill through is one column, and consolidation, this will be into one column. So likewise, and everything, if you want to go and take the start time and end time, then definitely you can take the start and end time, how long it has been taken from start time, and this is total end time. Okay, so what is the status, whether it is success or fail, how many records it is going to be processed, 577 records it is being processed into the application. Okay, so totally you can see this one into a AF process details. This is a table where you can have the all the information. Okay. So in the backend also, just I am giving for you just for the sake of understanding in the backend tables also, because of FDM is most of into SQL tables only. So we need to have that information, at least some of the tables. If you are having the information, then it will be good to you. So while loading the data, if you can see here itself in the log file, how it is going to be done, you can understand. Let me explain this process again here, how the process is being taken care of. So the process, how it is going to be started, and you can see the 4000 lines mean it's been created. So first it will be created the process ID. So the process ID been created. And FDME log level means detailed level, as I said, it says detailed level information will be provided. The log file will be created into outbox logs, where it is outbox, as I said, in logs. It will be creating the log file if you are having any issues. It will be creating based on the process ID. So any issues that are occurred in your application, then you can come to here and check this log. If any failures are there, then there is nothing issue. It will be loaded everything successfully and you don't need to worry about it. If you are having, you need to come to log and check the log file over here. Fine. Who's the user admin? What is the location? What is the period? What is the category? What is the rule name? Everything it will be captured first. Thereafter, system itself having some default queries in the backend, and it will be processed. So the queries which are having here, everything will be processed by the system itself. No need to write from our end. And from our end, what we need to check is records. How many records that it is been processed. Records loaded 82, and let us check here one by one. The mapping spot will be there, one of them there. Just I'm looking for that. So it started like file name, it's importing, the process has been started, and this value will be loaded into AF process periods, insert into, this is one of the tables. The period mappings and everything will be mapping over there, and thereafter the each dimension mappings also will be there. Each mappings it will be converted, and mappings everything will be taken care. That is where it is looking, including text data from load ID 11. Yes. Okay, here. So first updating the t data seg underscore t table. So that is a temporary table where you can maintain t data seg underscore t table. This is one of the table while executing the data load process. It will be first populated the values. So it will be truncated at the end of the, at the end of the process. It is a temporary table, t data seg underscore t table, and main table would be select stop from T data seg table. So here you can have all the data which you have loaded from the file, right? So whatever the data that you have imported from the file, everything will be available over here until the data itself also. Okay. So total will be available. The data and everything. Amount will be available here. Amount column. Okay. So, but the point is here, before going to populate the data into tdata seg table, the first file or the source open interface or data file, whatever that you are taking, the database or something, that itself will be populated on tdata seg underscore t table. Okay. So first it is updating source value from t data seg underscore t table amount x amount. What is this amount x and amount? What is amount account x and account? Entity x null. What it is exactly? So here if you can see here, amount is source and amount x is the target column. So here you need to remember is account is source, account x is the column, which is available with x. That column is a target column. After doing the mappings and all, it will be created in the backend one file. Outbox here there is that 11 process ID. Based on the process ID, it will be creating one file. Right, this is the data file. So this data file, how it is going to be created after validation. What is the validation? Based on the mappings. What it is does, it is just converting the source file into a target file, whatever the mappings that we have provided. Right. So these are all, this is data file. So this data file will be also been available in the table called as tdata_seg underscore t table, and there itself you will be finding the values. Amount is amount x, account x is the target member, and account entity this is source and this is target, ICP this is source, this is target. Likewise you are having all the tables information, that like mappings, everything will be done first in tdata seg underscore t table. That tdata seg underscore t table is valid and everything is fine, then where is that another thing? Here, so it will be updating one by one tdata seg underscore t table. Another table is AF process details. This process details also will be having the information about your total information, like whatever the logs that you are having, everything will be updated in the AF process details. Let us check the AF process details. This is like, right. So it will be process details will be giving all the information, min logs and min the process information will be provided. Another table will be like process t data map underscore t. This is like for your mappings, t data map underscore t. Before doing the data loading, it will be checking the data for all the mappings where it is available or not. Temporary table, this is also. Once the data being loaded into the application, this temporary table also will be getting deleted. Underscore t tables are the temporary tables which are being used during the process of data loads. Then you will be having the total mappings here. But while loading the data, this temporary table will be populated based on the members which are using in your application in data load, that will be available in the data underscore t table. That is mappings. One is for data, one is for mappings. So here you can check everything is updated into t data seg table first, account x, and everything that is going to be updated into a target columns. So likewise it will be updating everyone, each and every record based on the rules itself, between rule or something, exit mappings, everything that will be taken care. These are the steps that will be having all the information that This is also for entity. This is for account ICP. You did a second T only. So till that completed, it's like total mappings will be taken care. Total data load. This is for UD4. That means custom 4. So all the dimensional mappings will be done. So total how many rows that it is been updated, data load location by mapping. It's totally 577 rows that's been updated. Right. So here the process has been completed. I mean like the mappings and everything has been taken care, and info the total mappings has been done. I mean like mappings has been done 577. So AF process details, update that AF process details with the status of success. Otherwise it will be showing as failed. Okay. So here the process ID process, this is like process bal trans, which is seeing over here process bal trans, that is showing as success. Process bal trans in the sense transformation, and the status would be it is updating with success. So all the tables which are here, that is updating the tables over there. Next one is so here number of rows deleted from T data map seg. So this is the map seg in the sense the mappings will be converted into one of the table, that is like a temporary table. Thereafter another table is called as T data map seg. This is also will be used during the process of data loading. It will be it will be deleted in the next time when you load the data. Next time it will be truncated. T data map seg. So whatever the mappings and everything, categories and everything that we are having, this is about only mappings only it will be using. Okay. So these are all the temporary tables which are being used during the process of data load. Okay, no need to worry about it. This will be taken care by system itself only. So here you can see number of rows deleted from data seg. So once the data been loaded, it will be deleted number of rows from data seg table 577, and then it will be inserted the new records, and then it will be loaded. So here itself also see number of rows inserted into data seg, again it is 577. The temporary table which is there itself, data seg underscore t, that will be deleted from the process. So thereafter everything is there, then it will be started the data load process into HFM application. Right. That step, till that time the validation step is completed. So all the rows which are seeing from starting onwards, everything will be related to import and validate step only up to here. Start export step. Here the start export step is been started. So here you can see what is the detail seg dot data is everything is 0, and then your HFM export.py, this is like inbuilt functionality integrated to load the data. So you can see here your HFM application is connected or not, HFM export is completed or not, that you can see from here. Okay, this is the way that you can check all the issues. If you are having anything, you can check this one. AF balance rules, one of the table, AF balance rules. You can check this table, and BHFM that you have used this one, this will be updated with success or failure again. So that is success. Okay. So likewise, you need to debug the issues where the status and everything, process detail status, and whatever the things that we are having, you need to check from here. Okay. Is any questions over here till now? So this everything will be, you can check from this data load workbench. So the three fishes, and fourth one we can see later on, like where we can check that one and import, validate. If you are getting any issues, validation will be getting failed. If you are having any export, the target members are not there, and you will be getting the rejections. I mean, like the target members are not there, you will be getting the rejections because of some of the members are not available in your HFM application. That means the rest of the data will be loaded, and whatever the data that it is not there, the members are not there, the data will not be loaded, and you will be seeing as a rejections from HFM application. Okay, you need to fix them, or you need to update the metadata to get them loaded. So if your metadata is updated, then the new members also will be loaded. Okay, so this is like up to here. I mean, like we need to have some more points also we need to check from here. That is like logic group and check rule group and check entity group and script editor and report definition and query definition. These are the things are pending topics from FDME. Before going to them, we can check the process for ODI again. Okay, so we'll have 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, and we'll come back and check the ODI part. Okay, this is data load rules which I have explained the thing practically. The same thing only here itself. Multi-period I will explain later on once we fix this uh, ODI part. Once we completed the ODI part, then we can do that. This is what I explained. The total steps are there. Now this is like total refresh process details. Executed. So this is, yeah, one part that time is seems. So scheduling is there, right? Data load rule. Simple one only. Execute from here and scheduling. You can schedule this data load rule if you want to schedule import from source, export to target, and start period is something, and you want to load like every month that you want to load, then you can schedule this one daily if you want to run it. On what date you want to schedule it, every 1 hour that you want to schedule it, you can do it. Okay, this is scheduling part that we can keep it as your wish. It's based on scheduling. It will be scheduling the data. Even if you are not there, it will be automated the process. That we can do from batch execution also. That will be see. I mean, open batch is one of the part that is there that I will explain. And these are all things we will see later once we complete the ODI part. Is there any questions till now? Please let me know. Otherwise, we'll go for break for 10 minutes and later we can see. Okay. ODI is one of the pending topic. First, today we are going to check the ODI part, and later on we can check for open batch is one of thing. Multi-period data loading, open batch data loading, and once we prepare this one, AF data load process, AF data loading. Thereafter, we can go with logic group. What is logic group or checking TV group, and we can see this one. Okay, and report definitions. These are the pendings that we can see. Okay, we'll have a break for 10 minutes and we'll meet what is the noise is coming. Where? Yeah, security also will be covered. Now also coming, the sound, Samraj.
Airplane noise